Hi, Taurus. This is your August 2024 reading, Leo season. All information to work with me one-on-one is below. New podcast episode is below and segment, which I'm very excited about. It's my favorite philosophy to get into, the metaphysics of the body parts in astrology, how it relates to me, how it could relate to you, and like really deep diving into the way that I think, the way that tarot has transformed, all the things have transformed my life. So just take a look if you're curious. This season has a lot going on. I want to touch on vanilla with you. A couple cards already fell out, so we'll get to that. You may have been feeling blocked. Oh, sorry, this was reversed. No, it wasn't. Sorry, this is reversed. You may have been feeling blocked, and you may have been wondering why, but haven't really like been able to feel or find a time or want to really get into it. And this month you are finding the time, because what happens eventually is if you close your heart off to yourself too much, your mind can get fuzzy, because you've maybe been in preservation mode, protection mode, maybe you didn't know you were in it. But there have been some things that are unveiling themselves about what discipline is, what letting go looks like of a certain way of life, and how that changes the way that you think. And it can be scary, which can cause us to want to protect ourselves, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you're seeing where this has affected you in your life, and you may be looking for balance now. You may be looking for justification, or to the other side. And what is on the other side? Through this, there's a lot of luck. There's a lot of fortune, synchronicities, and moments where you can allow yourself to feel what it is that Leo season is bringing into your life. If this is painful, right? If this is a lot of swords, this is very cerebral right out the gate. Whatever's changing in your mind, whatever you used to do, this is the antidote, which is saying, do the opposite. You might find resistance. It might be hard. It might cause a little bit more friction or pain at first, but it will even out. It will even out, and the evening out has to do with what comes next. And what comes next is this path that brings you into maybe greater abundance, a new idea, seeing your worth differently, what worth looks like, and how whatever you have been processing in your mind and your body, whatever you have been maybe closed off or blocked to until this point, it's this opening, and it's a pretty big one. It's one where there's more of a sense of control. It's also showing you where that control was, and now where to aim it, where to move that control, where it's not working anywhere, where it's actually causing more pain and more suffering. And it's unleashing yourself and letting yourself feel whatever it is that you're feeling, to acknowledge whatever it is that you're feeling, to understand that whatever it is that you're feeling is really important and necessary to your mental health, to the way you work in the world, to what love looks like, to the balance of it all. Lots of thoughts saying that we can't balance it all, that one has to be the other. This is a time to try on and do things that make sense to you, to find intuition in these places in life where you've been guided thus far and given a process thus far, and now you're taking your process into your own hands. You're finding a way to be free of whatever's been in control of how much you think you're worth. What gives you that worth? Where it could have been passed down from, and how you're meant to expand it. You're like, I didn't ask for that job. Well, maybe your soul did in this lifetime. The power that your old way of thinking, which is not that old, that was held in it, was also maybe holding back some of your luck, or the luck was missing you. The rides, the ideas, everything was kind of missing you up until this point. Because like divine timing tells us that you most likely couldn't have felt it until now, couldn't have experienced until now, in a safe, healthy way, in a way that really evolves you. And evolves the way you think about money, the way you think about love, what it looks like to grow old together, how much control you have. You may be experiencing something right now where you see that you can plan whatever you want out. And yeah, I hope you hit those strides, and you will. But love this, and it's said in manifestation so much. It's like once you get it, you end up realizing that you don't even want it anymore, and you want something else. Someone in your life right now, a very real life experience, is giving you a view of how things don't always go as planned. And Leo season is here to tell you that that's what this is. This month is going to make you rethink your plan, but it's going to expand it. You may have wanted to play this is about maybe having played it safe, perhaps, in a certain way. And now that's shifting, the way work is shifting, the way you view work, especially in your day-to-day, right? What's causing you to have these conversations? What do you feel is provoking you? It's these ideas, it's these lingering things, subconscious in the brain has become conscious, and now it's changing your identity, and now it's sifting into how you communicate who you are now, and being along for that ride, and understanding that there's a vulnerability that goes along with it. There's a mental vulnerability, right? You don't want to expose your strategy to just anyone, but that strategy is no longer helpful. That strategy is no longer going to continue to drive this forward. We talked a lot about attachment. Whatever you've been overly attached to may hurt you this month. It may hurt you to show you that it may not be for you, or you've attained it and you realize that's not what you want. It's not what you truly desire. And this is giving you a way of seeing, Taurus, where you haven't been allowed to, where you haven't given it to yourself to desire more, because maybe you weren't told you could, they were never nurtured. You were always nurturing others, or always being with others. And there's a train of thought in Artistry by Julia Cameron. When I know a name, I'll say it, because I don't always remember the names of where I hear things. And I really love this and agree with this, is that we're all just searching for our inner creator. That even when we're helping people, and I think some people's art is to truly do that, and it is your art, but your creation, like the artist in you, who you are and how you paint this picture, is now more in your control, but it feels like it's more out of your control. And I know how fucking crazy that could feel. Sorry, YouTube. Freaking crazy. The more you place judgment on where these came from, we could say in the world of spirituality, don't judge. Well, yeah, you want to get there. But first, those judgments are your turning points. They're showing you like, oh, this is where I've tried to have control, where I don't think I can anymore, where life is showing me where all the lines are connecting. And it could have been a Leo, or it could just be Leo season overexposing that power dynamic, right? Maybe it's the one deep within you that you experienced, and that voice maybe wasn't even yours. And now you're seeing that there is a deep attachment to something, but is it what I really desire is the bigger question. Is it what you want to continue and how you want to continue to nurture your life? Because if it's not, then there's so much that's being put into play. And even if you think it is, you may be trying to convince yourself it is. And if you're trying to convince yourself it is, I would really deeply take a look at that. Like, why would you be trying to convince yourself, and where does that come from? You know, where does that have to do with your self-worth, and where were the limitations upon how you've been told that how you're supposed to be loved? Like, who you have to be in order to be loved or appreciated or cared for, and in turn, like, how that you've nurtured the art, your creation, what that looks like for you. It'll usually give you more energy, but it'll show you deep insight of like who you are and how you continue to create your life. And the fire and the inspiration is coming from what's not in balance for you. Maybe a year ago this was a balance, now it's out of balance, something's out of whack, and you're needing to nurture that. We're all needing to take a look at our inner child and giving it permission to create a new rule that your teenager and adult self all agree with. We're all in agreement with. And your version of creator, the source. Because abundance, wealth, prosperity, diving deeper into that, what does that look like in your life now? Where can you give it to yourself, even if it feels scary? Especially if it feels scary financially, it's letting go of that and understanding what's that attachment to this outcome and why you think you can't give yourself that. If you've ever worked for someone, they've done it for themselves, so why can't you? If that's what you want. That's just an example, Taurus. And also, not all of us can do what other people do, but something, whatever that is for you, that something's calling you. Something you've deeply digested that now has the ability to process in your brain is bringing up almost like, I almost wore my mushroom shirt, but instead I did the flowers, of the psychedelic experience, this healing experience. And maybe you want to hang out with flowers, which brings me back to vanilla, because I kind of was just like, maybe I'll bring it up, maybe I won't. I don't like to control the readings, but vanilla helps you. Like, I learned that it actually sets off opioid receptors, which are a deep relaxant. And not that I'm trying to get you addicted, but vanilla is a great alternative to opioids. The reason also why I like long form and I don't do things too short is because I enjoy long form, but I also learned that long form, I will be cutting things into shorts too, because I do like those two to get me into something. Don't get me wrong. See the strategy, the process, the strategy. Anything you resist, just trying it out, seeing what happens. Because it could just be a deeper calling to something or a trigger for the calling, anything. Is that I don't want, like, my brother was like, just do a thing where you like don't get addicted, because short form is very addicting. There's a reason why I don't do short form, where I only give myself so much time, or if I notice, I create boundaries around it, and it's not because it's not like I don't like to indulge. Who doesn't like to indulge their mind? But my brain actually just feels like fucked up after, and it is an addiction. So I just want you to take a look at where, because for you it doesn't have to be technology, it could be a lot of other things. For Tauruses, it could be money, it could be food, it could be where you find yourself very indulgent, and how it's interrupted a certain discipline that is really necessary for where your life is going, and how that thought process is, and provoking that thought process and getting disciplined in one area can provoke a thought process because you're detoxing somewhere, right? And this is about your ego, strength. I was like gonna say that, but I strengthened in the Emperor. There's something about, again, that plan, that protection, that was a part of your ego that worked for that time, and now that's evolving, and you're starting to see from 3 of Wands right to the 4 on the bottom, to the 2 on the bottom, to the 7 on the bottom, to the 2 of Cups, but we'll get into that after, is you're setting a real foundation for you. You are somewhere along the lines, something seeped in where you're like, I want to figure out what's for me, and if this doesn't work, if what didn't work for you as a kid, or now, and you're wanting to shift that, and you're having that communication with your partner, or you're communicating that with yourself, or with a professional or someone or a mentor, maybe about wanting to switch careers, or switch aspects of your career, or switch or start something new, make something, give yourself time, maybe cut back here, give yourself time here. This is not a time for burnout. This is a time to plan and be strategic about your energy, because you are going to want time to feel. Being tired is important, but for you, you'll just want to sleep or numb out, perhaps numb out. You need also energy to dream and to feel and to give yourself that breather, because you could be doing something that could feel relaxing right now, which did like normally and will continue to again, perhaps normally, but right now you need time to be able to relax your mind. You need to actually carve out that time to proceed forward, to show you how your ego is evolving, how it's blooming now, what's dying. My flowers here are starting to die, and I have to dry them out if I want to keep them. What's blooming and what's falling off. If you can find a way to have a conversation with your ego, if that's something that you're into, and because whether you do or not, it's going to come up in a situation, whether it's with a very masculine figure, a boss, your partner, one of your parents, whoever's had a dominant effect on the way that you think, the way that you present yourself, who's helped nurture those parts. Some of us do need to voice things in order to make that change. That's the deeper of the connection that you're building. We also have Libra, Leo, and Aries out. There's a deepening of the connection with yourself and other people right now, and how you present this part of you is going to reveal to you even more about what you're connecting to at this time and who you're becoming, and how that's connecting to a deeper sense of control within yourself. Because a lot of times we can really let go when we've never been able to get somewhere else with where we've been. So if there has been an addiction or a numbing out behavior, that's going to really be brought to your attention, to either just to sink into, or just say, hey, like, what the fuck is this and where is this coming from? In order to get through that, a lot of for you will be through your voice and through your body, and through moving your body. It moves your voice, but how do you move your body? Pay attention. If you're feeling stressed out, don't stress out your body more, especially if you're a female, because I know most of the time there's female listeners. Don't listen to your ego, listen to your body. If you only need to walk, if you only need to stretch, or if you really need to talk to someone or talk to a friend or have connective experiences this month, and you're really as well as protecting your energy for this exposure, for this blooming, for this abundance, do it. It's your life. It's your life. And the way you move in it now may feel weird at times, but it won't take long for you to feel more free. Because the acknowledgement and saying things out loud, whether or not you change your mind, and this is just this try it out time, you're giving yourself the opportunity to do it. And also the mutable signs are kind of, but either way, it's for the better. Just imagine, Taurus, just imagine what it could be like. Let yourself go there. Let yourself visualize. Let yourself feel it if you're a feeler. Dream it if you're a dreamer. And we'll get right into the next part. I love you. See you next month. All information is below. Let's connect.